him coming back, me being the one to direct that scene and get to decide what that would feel like and look like was, I mean, it's utterly insane for me as like the 12-year-old girl who's like, I like films. It's really cool.
And now a leap into the unknown.
How much did you guys dig in on the particulars of what happened to Jimmy since he was a child to now?
It was a huge grey area, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we have to assume that whatever they are, they're efficient because they've survived. So I don't know if we went into too much detail about the in-between of it, but I think it was important to see Jimmy and the fingers. That is a wild statement if you've not watched the film. But Jimmy and his fingers be very proficient at what they do, and that was important to me. So we do see them dispatch members of the infected with casual ease, and I think that gives you some sort of insight.
Are you going to leave?
Yes. But obviously we're going to kill you.
And also like just what their dynamic is. I think you have a very clear like sort of inciting incident for his life, which is the first scene of Danny's film. And then you can infer like, okay, from that he became this. And so the most important thing for us, I think, was like, what's the dynamic within the group? What's the power structure within the group? And so we talked about that.
Do you think he's a villain? Because obviously when we meet him, yes. Yes. Because I mean, he's not when he's a kid though, is he?
No, kids are innocent, but they can do villainous things. But no, he's just a little boo-boo running from his father, Satan.
Throughout, even through the Bone Temple.
Now we're getting emotional.
He's a little boo-boo.
Yeah.
And,
little Tiala.
And when you view him as that, he's a lot less threatening.
Yeah.
Well, because when you see Spike, who's sort of maybe a bit older than Jimmy was when things went down all those years ago, Spike's a good kid, but like he can, and we see him fighting against what Jimmy is now. But could he become that also?
Jimmy's dad is weird.
That's true.
Like when you meet him, he's like, here they are. And you're like, girl, that's not what's happening. And I think like, despite the flaws of Jamie, I think he's, as a father, has instilled some better, morals and ethics into Spike than the vicar.
Yes.
has. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I think with Spike, there is hope.
Yes.
With Jimmy, there's none.
Perhaps Jimmy would still be asking about the devil and things like that, even if the world hadn't gone to the way
he'd be a very intense religious young man, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
He'd be a vicar, probably.
There's no mid-ground.
Yeah. He's definitely intense, period.
Are you watching, Father? Master.
Nia, can you talk about humanizing Samson? Because he's obviously so scary when we first get to know him. And then over the course of this film, he becomes a character, which is a new thing for the infected.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that all started obviously in the script, but when Alex in the first film created these different kinds of infected, there's like the Slolos, and then there's the Alphas, or the Berserkers, depending on what you call them, introducing this idea that they can develop differently, also introduces an idea of like, that they can have different paths and they can think differently. And being able to create a journey for that character alongside Kelson was really special, because I think it really speaks to like a theme of the film, which is like, can people change? Because a question of the film is like, is there hope? And people with hope tend to do better things than people without, I think. And Samson going on that journey kind of reveals that the film and the filmmakers, I think, believe that change is possible and hope is important.
When the infected attack, what do they see?
So I think I read that you kind of, obviously Danny Boyle directed the first film, but I think I read that you sort of worked on Samson a little bit, developing him during that process. Is that
Yeah, so when I came into prep, they had been going through all these iterations of Samson, and so I stepped in and had like thoughts and feelings about him and his dimensions and whatnot. But Danny and I shot really differently, so we were also able to have kind of slightly different versions of Samson. And so I I did different things with him in my film, because we also, like, as open and generous as Danny was, like, there was also freedom and, like, we don't have to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know, our films can carry those differences. But yeah, anything that overlapped, we talked about a lot. Yeah.
How was it different shooting? I know you're only in the sort of the last bit of the first film with that Boyle did, but what was it a different process? Because Nia just said that she shot her film differently.
Yeah, in terms of style, for sure. You and Danny have things in common as well, where I love a director that just rolls their sleeves up and is in the mix with you always. And that can be said for Nia, the same can be said for Danny. It's just great unraveling the character and the story in real time and having conversations in the mode. There's 1,000 things going on, but you know, you can sort of feel like there's this attentiveness to what we're there to do. But yeah, there were no iPhones. We wasn't being shot on iPhones.
Right.
You know, there were none of those crazy rigs. But there were other things going on Nia's set, stuff that I'm learning today.
Oh yeah,
The shutter angles,
the shutter angles, and the
things
Simone
like that.
and the rigs that we had and stuff. Yeah.
Did you feel beholden to any stylistic aspects of the
No,
previous films?
Not at all. Well, because when I came in, I said I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to try to imitate what Danny's doing. But if there's something that I'm like, oh, that's interesting, sure, I'll take. But the thing that I took was the shutter angles.
Can you explain that?
Yeah. So Danny,
Listen
when he
to this,
shoots
it's blowing my mind.
when he shoots the infected, he changes the shutter angle. So that's why, like, if you watch like 28 Days Later again, whenever an infected attack happens, it's more stuttery and it's jarring, and that I just thought it was really effective, and I really loved that in the original film. And I thought it was a nice way to kind of have an homage, but one that was really effective for what I was doing. And because the Jimmies also are in that space of the infected, because of how much violence and horror they bring, we used that for them as well. So Sean, my DP, and I, Sean Bobbitt, who's amazing, we had 3 settings for the shutter angles, but we mostly used, like, I think it was like, I was talking to him about this, like 43.8 degrees or something, because you have to get really specific so that there's no the light's not flickering. Anyway,
I love that.
Yeah. So
How brilliant is that? It's genius.
that's
Yeah,
happening behind the
it's
scenes,
amazing.
baby.
Didn't even know
Yeah.
on the
But
day.
you feel it when you're watching that something's off, right?
Yeah, exactly, and
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
was good
You-
about it.
even without knowing it as well.
Yes,
It's, you know,
exactly. Yeah.
subconscious almost.
Yeah.
Genius.
Let's turn this up to 11.
Jack, do you think that Jimmy, like, what's his grasp on reality? Because he thinks Ian might, he really does think he's a little unsure. Like,
Yeah.
is this guy actually Nick?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, where is he on that spectrum?
Well, I think there is a vulnerability to him, which was like a rare opportunity to show, because in other times he is so obsessively in control. I think to his mind, I mean, what is reality anyway in this world that we're in? Everything's been very completely skewered, and Sir Jimmy Crystal is entirely corrupted. So, you know, what is that sense of reality? And I do think partly because of his insanity and that he does believe that he hears voices, which was my sort of ethos on him, until he doesn't, until he starts using that as a guise and a tool to manipulate the people around him to his gain.
But to your credit, you're very clear, like, performance-wise, when you are talking about really hearing voices and when you're full of shit. Because one of my favorite performance moments for you is when you talk about how talking to Kelson and you say, like, he's like, oh, you hear him in your head, and you go, the whole fucking time.
Yeah, like
And
he's
it's really sad.
afflicted.
Yeah. It's great.
But I understood him as quite a sociopath. And then there's a moment in the film, in the scene with Dr. Kelson, where because Dr. Kelson is a doctor, and he starts therapeuting him, he sort of makes him feel something. And maybe that's the only time he feels a human emotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
What connection? Actual connection.
an empathetic,
Yeah.
sympathy, you know.
Yeah. Because also I think his gang, the Fingers, are they live in fear of him, basically, right? But then here with the doctor, it's a different dynamic that Jimmy's probably not even used to experiencing.
So, is this all you're doing?
It is.
Are you Old Nick?
Old Nick. You mean Satan?
Yes.
Okay, so Duran Duran, how did that all come about?
In the script. Yeah. So like Alex wrote in those 3 songs, and he wrote in Number of the Beast, and before I was even in the movie, they cleared it because they knew how important it was. So they cleared it all and didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. But what was it like shooting the dancing? And
Oh, it was so fun. Oh my gosh. Also because Rafe is just like, he just goes for it. Like he does not hold back. And he I think like acting can be really exposing, and you kind of have to make a fool of yourself. And I think he's just sort of like, let's go, let's figure it out. Does that work? Does that not work? You know, and to have that and to also have that amazing music underscoring all of that is really exciting.
is there a world where we see Jimmy again? Is Jimmy done, or could he come back still?
I think he could have died more. Where that's concerned. And if Alex Garland is around and listening to this, I think he could have died a whole lot more. We see people really die in this film. And I think on that metric.
Thank you for making me not feel dumb, because that's my take on it. Yeah. What Killian, what was it like getting to? The fans have been waiting for this character for so long.
I've been waiting,
right? For 28 years practically. So what was it like shooting that and working with him?
It was so cool. It was so cool. I mean, 28 Days Later was the film that made me such a big fan of him, made me such a big fan of Danny and Alex and Harris and all those people. And so him coming back, me being the one to direct that scene and get to decide what that would feel like and look like was, I mean, it's utterly insane for me as like the 12-year-old girl who's like, I like films. You know, it's really cool.
Where do you guys stand on the zombie versus infected idea?
I don't know what a zombie is.
An age-old thing.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, so I don't know what a zombie is.
You don't know what a zombie is?
I never heard of that. No, they're infected. They're infected. Yeah.
They're infected. They're not zombies. What kind of?
I mean, they're infected. I mean, it's like, you know, like a square and a rectangle, you know?
Right.
I've got an electronic tag on my ankle if I say that word.
Yeah.
That's a studio thing.
Yeah. If I say Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. That's why I took that one.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny with this though, because the studio, I saw this movie last month in a fan screening. Like they're trusting the audience to kind of release a little bit of info about what's out there. Everybody's been waiting for Jim to come. Danny Boyle was talking about a year ago, right? So it's like they kind of are trusting the audience in a way that a lot of times some studios don't these days with information. And so far, so good.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's been majorly spoiled in any way.
I think there's something that happens when like journalists and fans like kind of come together and they're like, we're going to protect this experience that we had for people who haven't had it yet. And I think that was more common before everyone like got a hard on from spoiling movies and like being the first to know a thing and to reveal a thing. And it's nice to kind of revisit that sort of film culture.
Yeah. Do you guys know what happens next time around? Are you is Danny directing it? Do we know for sure?
Yeah, he said he's directing it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Or will you be involved in any capacity as
mainly me just like calling Alex and being like, so what's happening now? What's what?
Same as that as well, yeah.
And then being respectful and not spoiling it for all the fans.
Exactly. Yeah.